I'm 38 and I have braces. How did I get to this point? Well, let's go back all the way to when I was a kid. See, when I was in elementary school, I went to see an orthodontist. I had a retainer and I had headgear, and I was just told to wear them as much as I could, especially at nighttime. I didn't understand the mechanisms behind that, and I don't know if I still really do. I just know that when I was wearing my headgear, it's like, I don't know if you've ever worn one. It's like this metal bracket thing that's sticking in your mouth, and it's attached to the farthest back teeth on the top. And I mean, it's like pressing on it. There's springs, and it's pulling the teeth back. So even when you're wearing it at nighttime, sleeping, I really prefer to sleep on my stomach, as I did as a kid. And even sleeping on my side, which is, bearable that I could do, it's like this metal stuff that's sticking out on your side. So even pressing onto the pillow, it's pushing your teeth in this direction, and it's very uncomfortable, and I just never wore it. The retainer I hardly ever wore too, because I could still remember to this day, the first morning after wearing my retainer for the most of the day, my mom took me, to get breakfast. We got bagel and cream cheese at this place in San Diego, and as I bit into that bagel, it was so unbearably uncomfortable and painful, and my teeth were just sensitive and like raw. And that's kind of where my teeth are at right now. I've been wearing these for about 2 days. I got these on literally about 48 hours now to this point. And it's just, even when they were, putting on the bracket things, and then they put the wire on, as soon as the wire goes into each of those brackets, you could feel it start pulling the teeth in a certain direction. And oh my word. It's like every waking minute of the day, my focus is going back to it. I could feel the unbearable shifting of each teeth. But it's surprising. I could actually feel the teeth shifting. Like every day I'm noticing, when it started, right when I got them in, I could barely close my mouth, like I can't chew really. But then the next day I noticed my back teeth could at least touch each other. And then these two canines, which are really kind of sticking themselves out, are starting to make themselves known. Like when you have your teeth in your mouth, you know the position of the teeth in your mouth based on the mouth feel of it. And already I'm noticing that's shifting, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's the whole point that I'm wearing these. Well, that's the first part to it. See, I've realized that my teeth are really jacked up. It may not look it when you really see it, but there is what they call an overbite. There is an overjet and an overcrowding. So to fix this, 5 years ago, I was recommended to see an orthodontist to help start fixing all this. So when I did, they did the whole scan of the mouth, and their recommendation was a few things. They said that they could remove 2 teeth from the upper portion and then actually bring all the teeth back to kind of really align everything to fix the overcrowding, and then realign all the teeth because I have a huge overbite. But his best recommendation was to do a jaw surgery, basically bringing my jaw forward either like a centimeter or some sort of millimeters so that it realigns itself with my upper teeth. I was terrified. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm doing that. Plus, to wear braces, why don't I just get Invisalign? So I asked about this Invisalign, and they said, well, with your condition, Invisalign doesn't really help so much with it. Plus, wearing braces, it's a quicker fix and apparently a more permanent fix. So everybody recommends getting traditional braces, which is what I opted to do now. So I went off on that. I had a lot of social anxiety too about wearing braces, but now, in my years, I'm much more comfortable with it, so I went back to see an orthodontist to get a different opinion, and this was a different orthodontist. He did the whole scan, and he basically said the same thing, that yes, we recommend surgery to kind of correct all this along with braces, but he called it something else. He calls it MMA surgery, and I guess this is the actual term for it, but it's not only the lower jaw, but they're going to be bringing my palate forward as well, the roof of my mouth. So they're not only making incisions into the jaw, they're going to be making incisions all around here to bring the upper teeth forward. And that's going to be a whole procedure. And the healing process is going to be wiring my teeth shut for 2 weeks. And this is a year after I get the braces. So I've got the braces on 2 days ago, so the clock has started. Going into this surgery, I'm not nervous about it at all right now. I wasn't nervous about getting the braces up to this point, but hours before getting the braces on, I started getting the anxiety and the nervousness, but I still was able to go through with it, and I anticipate as we get closer to this surgery, I'm going to be feeling more anxious about it. They're literally cracking my skull. I mean, it's scary. It's a very scary process. If I knew someone who was facing the same kind of concerns and they decided at the age of 40 almost to not go through with it, I wouldn't blame them. For me, there's more like reason for it on a personal level, because on top of all this teeth stuff too, I have mild sleep apnea. So what that is basically you stop sleeping in the middle of the night for a certain number of times. They recorded it as 8.2 times per hour that I stopped sleeping. And each recorded instance of stop sleeping is supposed to be like 15 seconds at least for each instance. And I mean, that's a lot. That's scary. And I just know as I grow older, and as every dentist and hygienist and orthodontist that I've talked to, they say that it's just going to get worse and worse. So surprisingly too, MMA surgery is supposed to help correct this by bringing the lower jaw forward. You know, it opens the airway in the back and stops the snoring entirely and stopping the sleep apnea. You could probably tell that this is a lot for me to process. And the fact that I've been doing this for 2 days, I've been kind of wrapped in my head about how I'm going to bear through this, how I've been bearing through the past 2 days. And I've kind of rested on this idea that I'm just going to talk about it. I'm going to make videos. I'm not going to plan to make this about anything. I have a relatively okay career. I don't need this thing to succeed. If it does, great. If I can bring people solace, if they're kind of going through the same thing I'm going through as like a companion, you know, I think that would be more rewarding for me. Like, I work in the mental health field, so I understand how emotions and depression and anxiety can really impact our lives. And to that point too, I think there is a case in this in learning how to deal with the discomfort of this kind of thing. Like the discomfort of, you know, your teeth, right? It's painful, maybe. It's more uncomfortable than painful, I would gauge. But they've said that I can take Tylenol to help relieve a lot of this discomfort. But, you know, even with that, like, we live in the world where we can cure our boredom with this device in our hands whenever we need it. We can ail our feelings by going to food, by sleeping, by disengaging from the things that are scary to us. I think there's a lot of wisdom that we can learn by embracing that darkness, by going towards the things that we're afraid of, by engaging in the surgeries that are recommended for us, by engaging in the surgeries that are recommended for us that could prolong our life, that could improve our lives, to engaging in the relationships that scare us. So I imagine, at least my plan at this point, is to try to do a video at least once a week. And maybe throughout the process, I'll be talking about, you know, my shift in how I'm adjusting to this and how I'm preparing for the inevitable surgery, but also to share kind of what I'm learning about how I'm dealing with the uncomfortability. In the realms of depth psychology, they talk about this place of darkness, this underworld that we all have to kind of travel to, but that shares a little bit of our unconscious, you know, the parts of ourselves that we really don't engage in. They're the parts that we kind of lock away. And in doing that, right, we push towards the things that are more enjoyable to us and more pleasurable. But we find, right, that if we're stuck in life and if we are in agony, in anguish, in grief, one of the best ways to get over grief is to learn to process that emotion, to process that event. So I think even getting a chance to talk about it is going to help me overcome a lot of the uncomfortability and the discomfort that I generally don't like. Like, I'm known, and I know this in myself, to push away from the things that really scare me. And this in itself, while it doesn't scare me, it has a lot of uncomfortability with it, such as wearing braces in your 30s, and especially the inevitable surgery that's coming up. I'll also be talking about a lot of the things that I'm doing to adjust my life in general. Like, it's surprising and ironic that this is around the time, too, that I was thinking, you know, I'm almost 40. I'm going to start trying to think of things in a healthier light, you know, trying to eat better or get much more exercise than I've been getting. And surprisingly, you know, with braces, you can't have a lot of things. Like, you can't have, you know, hard bread. You can't have hard taco shells. You can't have rolled taquitos, which I absolutely love. Can't have fried chicken. I can't have Dave's hot chicken. Can't have Clyde's chicken. Can't have Raising Cane's. I can't have anyone's fried chicken. Can't have the boneless wings that I really enjoy. And that's going to be an adjustment. So if you made it to this point in the video, and you want to come along with me for the ride, welcome aboard. Hopefully I bring some solace. I bring some entertainment somehow. I don't know. But just some wisdom too, that embracing the things that are scary for you can ultimately be good. They help you overcome it. They help you heal, and they help you learn that the anxiety that you're feeling is normal. Worry is normal emotion. And a lot of the times the things that you're scared of just aren't as scary as you initially make them out to be. So with that said, I will leave it there. I'm going to juice myself a smoothie because I can pretty much only drink something. Take care.